welcome back to the channel. I am Aaron Shadow Moses. All right, so we have two completely different rifles here today. Very similar setups between the two of them. This is a PSA versus a BCM. We made this video at the request of our viewers and some other people that said it might be cool. So we were also interested to compare the two rifles head to head and just see how well they did. So we have the BCM Mark II, we have the PSA Saber 15-ish. All right, so going over the build for the PSA Saber 15-ish, it's going to be an A2 muzzle device that is pinned and welded on a 14.7 cold hammer forged FN barrel. We have the Geissele Mark 14 rail, a small piece of Picatinny up there just to help us with mounting lights. We had the Surefire X300 on here. Now the gas block on this rifle is the Geissele Super gas block. Now something to be noted about this gas block is that it is cross drilled and it does have a roll pin in there. All right, so Geissele Mark 14 rail. We have the EOTech XPS2-1, the Radian Raptor charging handle, and the Radian Talon. The trigger in this gun is the Hyperfire trigger. Now this trigger is really good. We have the Battle Arms Development takedown pins, the B5 Systems Bravo stock, and the B5 Systems P23 grip, as well as the B5 Systems trigger guard. All right, so for this build, it's going to be a 14.5 cold hammer forged enhanced lightweight profile barrel. We have the BCM Comp Mod 7 with the BCM low profile gas block. Now this is BCM's MCMR rail. We have the BCM rail panels here with the BCM vertical foregrip that we have chopped. We have the MBUS 2 sights. And for our light, you're going to recognize this. Obviously, this is the Streamlight ProTac HLX, and we do have the pressure pad mounted here with the Cloud Defensive LCS. Okay, for our optic on the BCM, it's going to be the Aimpoint Pro, an optic that we all know and love to include on our budget builds. What's going to be on this rifle in terms of the trigger, it's going to be a Geissele SSAE, and we have the Geissele Super charging handle. We just have a standard bolt release here and a standard 90-degree throw safety lever. We're running a Springco blue spring in here, as well as one of BCM's H2 buffers, which is something I like to run in usually all of my rifles. So anyway, mid-length gas system. I will say one thing about this gun is that it is properly gassed. When you're shooting this gun, the recoil impulse is just very minimal. It is just a real pleasure to shoot, and getting those fast splits with this gun and keeping this rifle on target is super easy. Not to mention it is running the Comp Mod 7, which is very, very much awesome. So we have the Faro Concept Slingster, my favorite sling. So we've been running the Magpul Gen 2 and Gen 3 P-Mags, as well as the aluminum Duramags. So this rifle has been pretty awesome. All right, so there's a couple of things we need to talk about between these two guns. All right, so the PSA is very much overgassed. I mean, the recoil impulse in this gun, running a Springco blue spring and a H2 buffer, is just kind of insane. Now, I'm not bashing PSA. This is a great rifle in terms of reliability. If you don't mind turning a few screws every now and then, or taking it to a gunsmith to get it inspected, just to make sure that everything is built properly, then this can 100% be a good rifle for you if it's something you want to train with. Now, I think this probably is one of the best guns that you can get to start training with, just because of the way it's built. It is built different. All right, so this is one of the best rifles you can probably get to start training with. It being overgassed is going to give you more of a recoil impulse. It's going to help train you a little bit better on 5.56 recoil. I hope you're also shooting other calibers as well. But this rifle has been 100% reliable. I have never had a malfunction on this gun, and I have at least 4,000, maybe more. It could be double that, I don't know. But definitely at least 3,000 rounds on this gun. Never had a malfunction. The only problem I've ever had are screws walking out of the gas block and a few other things coming loose on this gun here. But other than that, this rifle has been 100% reliable. So there's something we need to talk about between these two rifles, and that is going to be the price difference, because there is a pretty dramatic price difference between the PSA and the BCM. So if you go on PSA's website and you go to buy this upper, I think this upper alone is either $6.99 or $7.99. At the time that I bought it, I got this upper for $6.99, and it did not come with a bolt carrier group. I put my own bolt carrier group in there, originally running a BCM bolt carrier group because I usually like to run high quality products, high quality bolts in my guns. Not to bash Toolcraft or PSA or anything like that, saying that they aren't good, because I have absolutely had good experience with Toolcraft and PSA. As you can see, this bolt is extremely dirty. I don't know how many times I've cleaned this rifle, maybe once in 3,000 rounds, and so it's definitely time to give it a good cleaning. So the lower on this gun, I think, is $250 or $300. Not 100% sure, you have to check the website. The prices do seem to change. So what you're looking at here is a rifle that you can build all together without the optic. So the upper $6.99 and the lower around $300, plus a bolt, which is like $100, the PSA bolt. So you're looking at a rifle you can build without an optic for around $1,000. That's going to be without the charging handle. Of course, if you add the charging handle and you add the optic, it's going to be closer to $1,700, something like that. But however, you could just go and buy the PSA Saber straight out, and I believe it's like $9.99, and you get the whole rifle. All right, so there's a price difference between these two guns. This upper $6.99 versus buying this upper from BCM. Now, this upper from BCM, I think after everything we had installed, we had BCM install the compensator and they pinned and welded it, and after everything, with a free bolt carrier group, they say free bolt carrier group, this rifle came out to pretty close to $1,000 just for the upper receiver after taxes and everything. That was with the bolt. That was not with a charging handle. So the price is definitely something to consider. If you can't afford to buy this rifle twice, I don't suggest using all the money that you have to go and buy this gun, especially if you don't already have optics. I really think it's better to start with an entry-level rifle like the PSA, and you can slowly work your way up. Buy an optic, get a good optic that's going to be reliable, get a good white light that's going to be reliable, shoot the PSA for a while, and then when you're ready, just go and buy a better upper, a more high-end upper like the BCM, and you will not be disappointed. There's nothing wrong with starting out with the PSA, because that's exactly what I did. Getting your hands on some good optics and good lights to put on your gun, and then working your way up to a higher-end rifle as you go along, because that's how I started. I didn't start out buying BCM and Daniel Defense, because there is a pretty big price tag on these rifles when you include buying all the accessories and all those things for them. And plus, when you get into putting just extra things on the gun, like the Geisley SSAE, but you don't exactly need. There's nothing wrong with a reliable mil-spec trigger. In fact, I love mil-spec triggers. That's what I have most of my training on. And I guess that's why I'm so fast with the SSAE. All right, so between these two rifles, I would, if you were going to buy one, of these guns and it had to be your defensive rifle, your go-to-war rifle, I would say go with the BCM. If you want something for personal protection, the BCM is definitely going to be the best choice for you. And it's going to be the best choice all around for everything except for price. Now, if you're new to rifles and you're just getting into rifles, I would say start with the PSA. It's got the cold hammer forged barrel, and their PSA Saber line has a lot of premium features now that you really can't beat for the price. If you don't mind a rifle that is a little bit over-gassed, get yourself an H or H2 buffer, put a Springco blue spring in there, and that will help to tame some of that recoil impulse. And I don't think you will really be disappointed. Now, I did have a PSA that I had some problems out of. The trigger messed up on it, the dust cover wouldn't stay closed. Had another lower that I had some problems with from PSA, but as far as this rifle goes, I have never had one problem, not one malfunction, nothing. And that's after thousands and thousands of rounds. All right, so the BCM, I don't have quite as many rounds on it yet, maybe around 1,000 rounds, maybe a little over on the BCM. But in terms of the felt recoil, in terms of the way this gun shoots, I would say this is definitely more of a combat-oriented rifle. Now, I've shot several different ammunition types through this rifle, including 55 grain 223 all the way up to 77 grain 5.56 and everything in the middle. So this rifle has shot every type of ammunition I put through it 100% reliably. If you look here on the shell deflector, you'll see that we're starting to get that nice brass coating there. It's been there for a while. It's starting to look really cool now. Really like that brass coating on the shell deflector. All right, so in my opinion, in the PSA versus BCM video, the BCM is going to win all day long. However, it's not exactly the final answer, because it really just comes down to what your reasoning is for buying a rifle. Are you buying a gun to take to the range and plink every now and then? Are you buying a gun to take out to the range and just shoot at 100 meters, which I highly recommend doing? CQB and all those types of things are very cool, but it's very important that you do get proper training and that you take this very seriously. You can find guys out there, just do your research and find competent instructors and get good training. That's all that's really going to matter. Now, there's nothing wrong with buying a PSA and taking this to a few classes if you want to. I'm primarily a self-taught shooter. I started watching YouTube videos from people like T-Rex Arms and stuff like that. And that's actually how this YouTube channel got started. I started shooting, doing drills out here. I ended up posting a video on Instagram of me doing a lot of different drills. I tagged Lucas in it from T-Rex Arms. He shared my video. And so that's how this channel got started. It was started with PSAs and Springfield Saints and cheap rifles like that. So go out and get yourself a PSA if you want to train with. There is nothing wrong with that. When you're ready to take things more seriously, get yourself a BCM. I'm going to say that BCM is certainly the gold standard for fighting rifles. I really like Daniel Defense also. My Block 2 is my favorite rifle, but I will say that this is a close second. Now the Block 2 is a carbine length gas system, and it does have quite a bit more felt recoil. So it's really going to come down to what your preference is and what you want. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. We have a Patreon. Head on over to Patreon to check out things that I don't want other people to see, like bad stuff. Anyway, head on over to Patreon if you would like to support the channel monetarily, because buying these rifles and all the equipment does get expensive. Linked at the top of this YouTube channel, you'll find a little link there to my Instagram and to my Patreon. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.